Within this webinar, what we're going to see is briefly, I'm going to talk about my company. Then I'll introduce Power Project. Then we're going to see in the demonstration part how to create code libraries. We're going to display the line of balance diagrams. That is why we're going to use the code libraries. The code libraries actually is the activity codes of Primavera P6. I see that many planners, project control professionals is in this webinar, and also Microsoft Project users can be aware of the codes. Then we're going to assign these codes to our activities, which is going to consist of the build stages, or it can cover any disciplines. And we need also the locations. Then we can use the line of balance diagram to optimize our activities based on stoppages if we have any wastes within the scope of lean construction, if we have any resource clashes on the same location at the same time. We will be directly determining these mistakes and make all the corrective actions. So as a prime PMO project management and consulting company, what we do is we have PMO services, consulting and implementation services, and also we do provide company-based, software-based trainings within the scope of project portfolio management, 4D, 5D, BIM planning, project analytics, which is schedule, risk analysis, consists of anything about the schedule insights. BIM management, we have time, location, linear planning. For the road pipeline, any infrastructure projects, we do prepare linear scheduling implementations on our projects, and also lifecycle facility data management, and we have business intelligence reporting services. So we have the market-based solutions, and also we are all the distributor of these solutions. For the project portfolio management, we have Oracle, Primavera, and also the Power Project. For the 4D BIM, which is the combination of the BIM 3D models with the schedule, we use Power Project. For the 5D BIM, adding cost information to our BIM system, we use Bitcoin. For the 6D, 7D BIM, we have Economus, and for the schedule analytics, forensics, any risk analysis, we use Deltic Product Acumen. Also, we have a schedule reader. So let's talk about what is Power Project. Actually, it is not a new software. It has been on the market over 30 years. Elocasoft is the developer, which is a UK-based company who developed Power Project, and it is widely used in the UK and Europe region. What you can see from here that many type of projects that Power Project can serve the best practices, which can be a special space shuttle, any infrastructure, airport project, or even a high-rise building. So these are also only the some of the projects that Power Project is implemented. And you can see some of the customers that are chosen Power Project before. Worldwide known contractors, consulting firms are using Power Project also widely. So what is Power Project is, it is a core scheduling tool in Primavera P6, Microsoft Project, whatever you can do for the creating a schedule, linking types, any resource, cost loading. Power Project can also do everything. And additionally, we have earned value analysis, line of balance. We have a risk engine. We can perform risk analysis also in Power Project. So we're going to see the line of balance part for within the scope of this webinar, and also after this slide, I would like to discuss what is line of balance initially. And then what we have is business intelligence report. So Power Project has direct integration with the BI system, so data integration can be automated. That is why with really efficient way we can display all the project information within a dashboard. So progress update can be done within mobile applications. So site engineers can update the schedule with the mobile applications. They can add notes, take pictures, and you need only do is to import all the information, and automatically the progress will be updated. We have a free project viewer. So whoever you will going to send the project information in the reports or the native file of Power Project doesn't have, the other party doesn't have to have any Power Project license. They can see with the free project viewer. And also we have the 4D BIM part, which is the combination of the 3D model and also the schedule to optimize and also to visualize the project scope. So let's talk about line of balance. It is by definition, it is a project control process to measure and monitor duration and location-based schedules. So in the literature, there are many definitions of line of balance, which are the vertical production method, linear scheduling, repetitive scheduling method, flow production, flow line scheduling, or location-based scheduling. So these are all refer to one thing, which is a project schedule aims to integrate location or distance information with time and the duration. So the main idea is that we have a schedule. So we have a CPM schedules, a worldwide known approach for the planning and project control. And what we do is we increase this dimension in one more. So we add the location information into our schedule. Then we are able to display the whole project schedule, all the scope, and we can also control the project status within a single view. So this is a sample view, which is from 1930s. The line of balance methodology is not a new feature. So it is the Empire State Building is one of the first samples that line of balance is implemented. What we see on this chart is we have on the x-axis, we have time information. So monthly from January to September, we're able to see the time information. And also for the y-axis, on the y-axis, we have the location information. So it is a high-rise building. Then what we are able to see the floors, so from starting from the basement, 2, 3, and there it is going up to the roof, and we have these lines, which is the determines the line of balance. We are able to track and also see all the project schedule within a single view. So what we see here, we have a 5 activities, which is the information. We have the orders, details, delivery, and execution. So what from the first insight, what we can understand from here, that these 2 activities, delivery and the execution, is following a really tight schedule. So any delay of these delivery activities will automatically delay the execution of these projects. So this way, what we're going to get is we need to make sure that these tight schedules will be affecting our project progress. And also the other thing that we need to make sure that these 2 disciplines, they can represent different resource crews or any other repetitive following activity relationships. So we need to make sure that these are not clashing on the same location and on the same time frame. So we need to, so we can give an instance that any wall installation, we have an activity, let's suppose that, and after that the paint and the plaster follows. Within the sample, we have a paint, plaster, and the wall installation. So after the plaster activity finishes, the paint cannot start. So if we have any other situation on our view, so we'll be making sure that we need to correct these activity relationships. So these, of course, in the modern days, the line of balance charts are not created manually, and automatically we can update also the display the line of balance charts within our software, which is a planning and scheduling specific software Power Project. What we see here is an Gantt chart. We have 3 activity disciplines with the codes. You see that the brown, blue, and the green ones are the wall, plaster, and the paint activities. And also we are able to track all these activity progress and also the productivity based on these floor information. So if we have a 6th floor in our project, what we can do is we can display all these activities and making sure that they do not collapse or any other. If it can be a painting activity, we need to make sure that it flows in a straight line. So these line of balance charts will be a direct understanding of our project execution. So let's talk about what Power Project can do more is we can control multiple projects as a program management in a single view. We can add any data about these projects and track with the baselines. You see on the bar chart, we have a level 0 schedule representing one project and also its baseline and also the comparison between these baselines, where the data can be tracked on the table spreadsheet as well. What we can have is resource management. We can always allocate our resources. It can be consumable or permanent resources like equipments, labors, crews, or the materials. We can optimize our resources based on these level charts. Cost and income management, different than the other softwares, we are able to categorize our costs. It can be for materials, subcontractors, any revenues also can be implemented, and then we are able to track the project costs, income, and also the net cash flow, also based on the time dates, which are the monthly costs we are able to track on the charts. So of course the earned value analysis can be generated based on the duration, cost, resource effort, or overall percentage weightings. We're able to track the progress performance based on the baseline schedule and also the actual values. And also we can track with the S-curves as well. What we have is risk analysis. We can determine the duration likelihoods, cost likelihoods. If we have any activity which are more affecting any other uncertainty, we are able to track on the tornado chart. What we have is marginal likelihood, and we can generate risk analysis reports in Power Project 2. So the reports is a rich way of Power Project because it can unlimited number of customizations available, all the colorings, you see the spreadsheets. The spreadsheet is working similar to Excel, and the customization is available. So we can shade the necessary time frame. If we have a BIM model, we can put the actual situation within a progress report. For instance, we can add resource, cost usages, anything, and we can all these reports can be exported into Excel or PDF format. For the BI reports, you see a sample dashboard. So these project information that can be directly transferred in these BI dashboards. And also for the program management, we can see a Gantt chart for the multiple projects. We can see the progress information, planned percentages, actual percentages, and status if our projects are on the behind, on track. And also we can locate our projects based on their locations. So Power Project is an open API based system. That is why in almost every customization is available for the ERP systems like SAP, finance systems, in accounting, or for the different planning and scheduling softwares. It has a direct integration with P6 files, Microsoft Project, and also Tiles files, or any other integration that can be run within macros, or any plugins can be implemented. So the last part is the 4D BIM part. What we have is a schedule directly can be imported, or we can create from scratch a schedule within Power Project. Then if we have a 3D BIM model, what we need to do is we can import it in ISC file format. Then we can combine all these two to have a 4D BIM simulations to optimize our schedule and control all the project execution again within our 4D BIM charts. So it can be a road project, bridge project, any industrial project. If we have a BIM model, 4D BIM can be also implemented. So let's move on to the demonstration part. And one more time, I would like to inform you that if you have any questions, please send me from Q&A, or you can write from the chat. So at the end of this webinar, I'm going to answer all of the questions. So what we see on the interface, we have a ready schedule, so it can be created in Power Project or it can be imported from other file formats, which is from Primavera P6, Microsoft Project, or it can be, so this spreadsheet directly, we can copy paste our activities on Excel, and we are able to import Excel files with Control-C and Control-V. Or if we would like to create a schedule in Power Project, what we can do is directly straightforward. We can create by dragging our mouse on the Gantt chart. So these activities are created. What we can say, this is excavation, this is piles activity. Of course, these durations can be adjusted anytime. And let's put our footing, for instance, so it can be 12-day activity. After that, what we can have is the slab, let's say, and once we determine its duration, it will be available on our Gantt chart. What we can do is directly, we can, after the excavation, link with the finish to start. If we have any start to start relationships, what we can do is we can link. And we can also, for the what if scenario, what you can see here, that on the upper schedule, I can play with these activities. But if I want to reschedule only these activities, I can reschedule only these activities to show it their critical path. So I do not have to create any filter for this what if scenario. These 4 activities, I can display its critical path. You see that reschedule selection. Once you select these activities, it is available. We do not have to first create work breakdown structures. Directly, we can create, let's say this is our substructure works. We can create a work breakdown structure after creating these activities. Then you're going to see this work breakdown structure, again, a critical activity. So we're going to use the code libraries. You see that these code libraries are categorized. We can always customize these. And let's suppose that I would like to assign an activity code to my activities. So quickly, I can select all the activities, substructure code I would like to assign, drag and drop, and okay, so it asks us to display. You're going to see based on these code, these activities will be assigned, and directly with the double click, I'm able to filter out these activities. What I can do is I can go to the program. For instance, I can right click. If I have any resource cost loading, I can put on this schedule. Then I can copy to task pool whenever I will going to need this activities, or it can be a whole project schedule. So from the task pool, I can open this substructure with the -1. I can drag and drop these, all the activity code information, everything will be available. And maybe we can put a lag, then reschedule it again. So we'll be able to create our schedules in this way. So this was also only a sample of creating a schedule. Of course, anytime we can import it from Primavera P6. After that, in order to create a line of balance diagram, what we're going to use is we need activity codes, code libraries. So one discipline we're going to assign is, it can be a based on the disciplines, any project stage, or the activity codes itself. So you see that these codes are already assigned for the diversion works. Diversion code, we have excavation, fill, aggregate, curbs, asphalt. So it is a sample road project for the traffic management. So we have some codes are missing for the QA, QC, and also the finishing, for instance. Let's create our own, these 2 activity codes. That is why I would like to go to the view. So in the view, we have a library explorer. This is the program files of any Windows-based system. So any information that you would like to use, you need to go to the library explorer and create it in here. So after that, it will be available on our project view, so we can use accordingly. So we have these activity codes in Prime PMO code folder. So I would like to go to this code library folder. Finding the Prime PMO. So we do not have any chance of creating activity codes or work breakdown structure codes. We can by manually determine their specific, and then we can assign it accordingly to our schedule. Let's move into the activity code. So we have a QA/QC miscellaneous. We have two activity codes are missing. It is already created. How we can create it is right click. Let's say this is QA/QC, and then we need to determine their pattern, their coloring, so it will be more visible than any other software. Maybe we can create it this way. Then after creating all these activity codes, so you see that we have a new folder, for instance, aggregate code. It can be road-based, sub-based. We can also categorize our codes into our different specifics. So we have QA/QC codes. What we can do is we can open the activity codes, select from the spreadsheet, or for instance, for this activity, we can automatically drag and drop this code. And also it says to display these codes. So you see that there's been a tick on the Prime PMO code, and we are able to see our codes on the Gantt chart more visually and more easily, that we can determine the activities based on other disciplines. So let's finish our code assignment. What we have is miscellaneous. If I want to quickly assign these three activities a code, I'm selecting multiple activities, opening this miscellaneous, drag and drop to any activity, but the three activity will contain this activity code. After that, this is the one code we need for the determining the differentiating actually this activity between the others. So this why I would like to assign these to the task. You see that we have also a barcode. I can add another code column. So under the code, what we have is the task and also the bar. You see, we also only assign to the task, and we are also have the bar. So the quick definition of what is bar and the task is, this is a bar which I can select from the line. Similar to Excel, whole line will be selected. However, if I can only select this task on the bar chart, the bar will not be selected. If I move to this bar to any other line, you're going to see that this bar name will be different than this bar name. However, the task name was initially the A. That is why it leaves it that way. So if these bar and the tasks are on the same order, same line, so they can work integrated. However, if I move this, you see that the finish start dates are moving with the bar task. However, the bar remains. So we assign these activity codes to the task, because once you import your Primavera P6 schedules, you're going to see your activity codes in the task, not on the bar, because P6 doesn't have this bar or task the differentiation. Then we need to create location information. So we need to assign again a code library I'm going into, but this time I would like to say that this will be my different categorization for line of balance. If I can right click, so I'm able to create, for instance, this project is a road project. What we can directly input is kilometer information. So we have first stage 1 is 5 kilometer. Then what we have is a 3 kilometer. Then we can have another 2 kilometers for the stage 3. So let's suppose that we categorize our project into 3 stages, which is the 5 kilometer, 3 kilometer, and the 2 kilometers. So then we need to assign, of course, these codes, but we do not have to deal with its patterns or coloring, because line of balance charts will going to take only these name informations as a code information. However, I would like to right click to show all fields. You see that LOB row height. We need to determine a row height to display these lines within a order. Of course, what we're going to have is orders. So in the view, we have more graphs and the new line of balance. Once we create, you're going to see this chart which will be created. So you see that this location information is using another code. So you see y-axis is the floor level code, but we created line of balance. So first I would like to see my line of balance codes, but I'm not able to see because we need to determine the row heights. So of course we can say, okay, so we can say these are all 5 row heights. We will be able to see them equally. However, these kilometers are changing. So this is 5, 3, and 2. That is why, in order to maintain the productivity aims on our linear activities, I would like to input 5 for the 5 kilometer, 3 for the 3 kilometer, and 2 for the 2 kilometers. So this time you're going to see these heights are different, and it is kind of representing the duration between these two location points. So after that, what we need to do is, so you see on the properties in the code library, we need to use the prime PMO ones. I click apply. However, we are not still able to display because we need to assign these location codes into our activities. So I'm adding a code column. This time it is going to be a bar column, which is not going to be available for any other software. So by manually, we need to input our line of balance codes into our activities. So this will be our first code, which is the stage 1. And whenever I see these stage 1 activities, I can keep selecting with the control. So this will be kind of a similar approach of fill down. Right click, paste values. So it should be, so this time right click, paste values. Okay. So by manually, we need to fill these codes into the bar. This time the drag and drop is not going to work. That is why the dragging and dropping these activities will be assignment for the task, but this time we need a bar. So for instance, this first stage we assigned, and we are able to see on the first stage, which is the 0 to 5 kilometers, we are able to see our activities as a single bar line. And on the legend, we are able to distinguish these activities with the code coloring of these prime PMO codes. We can see the traffic management, excavation, electricity, and we are able to see where they are located. So quickly, we need to fill. So I would like to copy this one, try again, paste. Okay, so this time it worked. Let's copy. These are the stage 2 activities. All right, right click, paste values. And one more thing, we're going to assign the stage 3, copy. Quickly, I'm selecting these number 3 activities and right click to paste values. All right, so every code will be assigned to our activities, and this time we will be able to display all the activities on our line of balance diagram. All right, so we need to make sure that we rescheduled our project. Okay, so we have some changes, and then we can focus on all the project scope, because this Gantt view, you see that we are able to scroll down and we are only have 50 activities. So as you may know that all the project schedules have more than thousands of activities. So controlling all the scope with this Gantt chart will be a suffering issue. However, this single view of representation of these activities, where they are located, when they will be active in progress, or when they will be finished, we will be able to track with these line of balance diagrams. So what we can do with this line of balance diagram is we need to make sure that some kind of activities I see on the Gantt chart is we have some weighting issues. So we have this filling activity number 1, 2, and 3. Let's quickly find our fills here. So you see that they are not linked with the finish to start between those 3 activities. We need to make sure that these are so our team, for instance, in the second week here, on the date of between the 6th of January and the 28th of September, 20th of February, you see that the second activity starts on again 6th of February. So we need to make sure that we have enough resources to execute these 2 projects in the same time frame. And then what we see is we have traffic management activities, but this activity finishes on, in the first stage, finishes on the 4th of September. However, the second activity starts 2 months after. So this will be a quite of 2 months of a waste of these crews will come on the site, do their work, and 2 months later they will come on the site again. So we need to make sure that we optimize these activities on they flow in a really consistent way. So you see that we have excavation activity before the diversion. Let's suppose in one approach, which is the pool planning of the lean methodology, we can pool these activities to fill these gaps. So you see that between the diversion activity, which starts on say 8th of November, and the excavation starts on 6th of January. So it has a really big gap. We do nothing. That is why we can, for instance, drag these excavation 2 activities. You see that it is linked with finish to start. So that is why we can, this will be on this way. However, if I can change the relationship type or anything that we can start this excavation activity before diversion activity finishes, so we will not going to be able to construct these 2 in the same location. So there will be no clash this way. However, we can pull this activity starting to 15th of October, or let's give a 10-day or any 5-day gap. So let's check, this is 23-day activity. We can drag this to a simple point to close this gap between these 2 activities. And this time we will going to be, we have electrical works, we have filling activities, so they are somehow related with each other. However, these electricity works doesn't have any predecessor to start any activity. That is why we need to make sure that these electrical activities doesn't collapse with any other fill activities. So for instance, what we can do is, before playing with the filling activities, maybe we need to consider finishing these electrical works in a more rapid way. So I would like to go to the electrical works. For instance, let's decrease this duration to 50. What is going to be that will not anymore affecting any aggregate sub-base activity, so it can flow with this approach. After that, we can make sure that this electrical works will be here. And then again, if we are able to increase our equipments and resources to, for instance, 42 days, so it is not going to be any issue about aggregate sub-base. However, we have the filling activities, so we need to make sure that these electrical works doesn't collapse with our filling activities. So by logic, it generates after the electrical works, but we have an electrical lines going under the ground. So we need to make sure that after the electrical works, we have the filling activities. Then we have the aggregate sub-base. So we can see that these are, we have a kind of a stoppage here from stage 1 to stage 2. However, this gap can be eliminated because there is a really tight schedule on the stage 2. Here we have electrical filling here, and the aggregate sub-base follows the others. And then we're going to have, so you see that we have curves between the aggregate road base, we have clashes, and in the initial stage, the aggregate sub-base starts before the curves, so we can make sure that they follow on the single line, but they are not clashing on any other curve activities. So you see that on the curve activities, we are able to start here. However, this stage 2 eliminates this straight line going on for the production. That is why we can this time push this activity. So we do not need, also let's go to this curve activities, which is not a critical activity. That is why what we can do is we can pull this activity here. So we need to make sure that these activities flow without any issues, and we do not have to schedule these 4 activities in a really tight zone. So we can spread this curves activity here. So we do not have asphalt concrete, so it looks good. However, we need to push these activities. You see that, or we need to fill these gaps. So we can go to the asphalt concrete. Let's say this is 40 days. Let's say this is 45 days. We can gain these gaps, so we can pull these traffic managements, kind of push these stage 1 activities, so we are able to maintain these activities in a, let's move this one to, in a straight line. All right, so I'm moving this one to here. Okay, then this will be here. So you see that actually we are pushing and also the pulling, implementing lean techniques on our schedule. Of course, the requirements can be issues. So if maybe we do not have these kind of resources to maintain these activities, maybe we do not have any contractual limits. However, we are able to, so please see the last activity project finish milestone is 5th of April. Without extending anything on our project finish date, we are able to play with the activity start and finishes, making sure they are all in the following their previous crew activities, and we are able to finish this activity, actually the project scope, in the 9th of the March, which is much before on the 5th of April. approximately 1 month earlier, we are able to finish these activities, also the project, more earlier than the first plan. So these flows, these any other resource, or it can be activity clashes, may not be seen on the Gantt chart, traditional Gantt charts, but you see that once we play with these activities, automatically the activity also moves along, and we have an holding pin, which is a holding pin is a constraint after rescheduling. So this will be the activity start and the finish date will be maintained according to our constraints. So these maybe after that we would like to update all the links, relationships according to line of balance, if and only if this schedule can be implemented in a real time. So generally these approach, so I would like to also recommend from you to this approach can be a what if scenario. That is why you can save your original project schedule, implement the line of balance diagram, represent all the activities with a single view. So after that, you can change the start and finish dates, any relationships to maintain these activities flow within any stoppage, and also they do not collapse. As you see that if this is collapsing, we are making sure that on the same location and on the same time, these crews or these activities should be executed in the most time. These repetitive activities, so it can be a road project, pipeline project, and a road project, or it can be in high-rise building. So all the wall installations, reinforced concrete works are repeating each other based on different levels. So we need to make sure that these are all generating in a most optimal way. So this will be all about what I would like to say. Maybe I can see any questions that you can ask, or if you have any ask questions, you can send from the Q&A or from the chat. Hope to see you on the next webinars, or anytime you can contact us from our webpage, primepmo.com. Any requirement, we'll be happy to help you. Thank you. Have a nice day all.